welcome to this month's edition of Roanoke County Today. I'm Teresa Hall, Roanoke County's Public Information Director. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, the latest on efforts to balance next year's budget, plus the importance of filling out and mailing back in your census form, and why Roanoke County's Fire and Rescue Department is making headlines. All that and much more. Please stay with us. For several months, Roanoke County has been working to balance not only this current year's budget, but also plan for next year's budget, and it hasn't been easy. Brent Robertson is the county's Management and Budget Director and is here to talk about the budget process. You know, Brent, this might be the most challenging time in your career with Roanoke County. You've been here for about 20 years, and you say it's been extremely difficult.
Yes, it is. By far, it's been the most difficult and challenging budget development year I've ever had.
I know that it's been challenging, but at least you feel like you've balanced the current year's budget pretty well.
Yes, we've had quite a bit of challenges with the declining revenues as well as mid-year state adjustments, but through some austere measures we've put in with freezing positions from restrictions in travel and training and things like that, we feel fairly comfortable that we will easily balance this year's budget.
What has been the challenge in looking forward and trying to plan for next year's budget?
Well, there's quite a bit of uncertainty so far. The biggest one we're dealing with is the uncertainty that deals with the state budget. The General Assembly is currently in session, and there's quite a bit of compromise that still has to be reached at the state between the House and the Senate, and so we're still probably 2-3 weeks away from finding out what the impact on the localities will be.
So what numbers have you been trying to plan by?
To date, from the state budget, we have utilized the ex-Governor Tim Kaine's budget because those are the only proposals that have been quantified at the local level. So we know, for example, that we are expecting about $2.2 million of state reductions on the county side. The schools are dealing with quite a bit more, but Governor Tim Kaine's budget is what we've using so far.
And I think you've said to me in some of our discussions that the education part is what makes it so challenging too, trying to figure out just how much is going to be taken from the state in terms of what they reimburse schools or the monies that they give to schools.
Right. By far, once again, that's one of the areas that I think is going to receive the most impact statewide, and it affects the county because we have a revenue sharing agreement with the Roanoke County Schools, which has worked very well for both sides over the years, and so therefore our impact will be determined by the school's impact.
What have you been telling the different departments? We've got over 20 departments in the county. What have you been telling them?
Well, right now we have gone through what we call a target reductions, which in effect has reduced their budgets in the current year over last year's budget. We are also asking them to develop an additional scenario of an additional 10% cut that they may have to absorb depending on what the state does. So we are planning right now, I would say, for the worst, and we're hoping for the best.
Could citizens in reality, could you see a change in service level based on the reductions and what you're seeing now?
We could. The Board of Supervisors has asked us to try to minimize the direct impact of core services to the extent possible. So we are proceeding under that directive. However, there is a likelihood that they will see some changes in services across the board.
Right now, we're taping in early March. We're going to see a lot of activity in the General Assembly in the coming weeks. Sort of give the viewers, the folks who are watching from home, an idea of what's going to be happening in mid-March, end of March, in terms of the state budget process.
Well, the House and Senate right now need to come to a compromise. They're both looking at very different budget scenarios right now. Once they do that, our state associations, the Virginia Municipal League, the Virginia Association of Counties, will then help us determine what resulting impact that has on the localities. They will send that information to us, and then we will have to process it through our channels and our processes. So therefore, we're probably still looking at least 2 to 3 weeks in a positive outlook to understand what our impact is going to be. So it'll be first part of April.
That's makes planning very difficult.
Yes, it does.
Has the Board of Supervisors been part of this process?
Oh, absolutely. We have worked very closely with the Board of Supervisors and provided them, as we get information, we've provided it to them, and they've been very appreciative of that, and they've given us good direction as we've moved through the process.
It's been a lot of information that you and I have been sharing as we've been sitting here. Is there a place that citizens, say they're watching and would like to know more about what's going on in Roanoke County, where can they go for more information?
Well, if you go to the Roanoke County's website, go to the home page, there's a great big green budget update button on the front page, and if they click that button, it'll go to the budget department's website that will have a lot of this information, well, basically all the information we've shared with the Board of Supervisors up to this point.
And we've talked about awareness with the board and how they've been able to comment. Is there a time that citizens would be able to let the board know what their thoughts are going forward with the budget process?
Yes, obviously they are welcome at any work session. They are open to the public that we have. We've been meeting with the board every 2 weeks, and in some cases we've met on successive weeks with the board to keep them updated. Right now, our next opening for public input will be the second meeting in April. We'll have a public hearing on the county administrator's proposed budget where we can continue to hear comments from the public. But
until then, they can look on the website and get all the information they want. Of course, they're able to phone you too if they have any questions.
I'd be happy to take any calls or emails that anyone would like to send.
And your number?
My number is 772-2021.
Well, you certainly have a challenging job. I appreciate you taking the time out to share the information with the public.
Thank you.
And stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
The odds of a child being struck by lightning? 1 in 600,000.
Okay, that's it. You're done. Let's go.
The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. You know the odds of autism. Now learn the signs. Go to autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back. I'm Dan O'Donnell, Assistant County Administrator, and I'm here with our Chief of Fire and Rescue, Rick Birch. Welcome, Rick, and glad you could be with us today.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for coming over.
I'm really excited about this particular portion of our program because we're here to talk about the Governor's Awards for Excellence, which your department just had a big part in 4 different awards, I believe, so that is really outstanding. Can you tell us what those awards are, all 4 of them?
Yes, sir. Three are directly related to the Air Department, and then we had one of our retirees win one, so we kind of cleaned that one too.
Great.
The first one was for outstanding fire response, which was related to the big snowstorm we had just before Christmas, December the 18th. During that storm in the Fort Lewis area, the motors became stranded due to the weather conditions, and everything came to a standstill for about a 4-mile stretch on I-81. Around midnight, we were called in to provide the state police assistance, and at that point was not sure exactly what that meant. Before it was over with, we ended up evacuating 70-some of those folks in their vehicles who, some had been there for several hours, back to the Fort Lewis Fire Station, where we were able to get them warm, give them a little something to eat. Thanks to the Richfield Nursing Center, they brought over some food for us. And basically we was able to house them until sometime the next day where the 81 was cleared enough that they could get back in the vehicles and be on their way. But it was quite an operation they had to move these folks. Some were just in shorts and tennis shoes traveling from many different states. And certainly we're not equipped for the weather, but we were able to evacuate those folks and get them to the station, feed them, warm them up, and get them back on their way the next day.
That certainly deserves a statewide award. That was a heck of a snowstorm we had, and you folks did a great job. Tell us about the next one.
The next one was for outstanding fire service management. And as you know, we operate a regional training center with the city of Roanoke and the city of Salem. We have expanded that now into our hiring practices, so that the hiring practice for fire and rescue takes several months just because of the testing that we have to do to find the right candidates. We, several years ago, pooled our resources together, and now the testing is one procedure. All 3 localities come together, furnish some staffing to conduct the testing, and when the applicant goes finalize the testing, if they so desire, they're automatically on all three jurisdictions list to be hired. They could get an interview with all 3, by just going through one process.
Right.
And that streamlines the resources we need to conduct that testing, and it also makes it easy for the applicant to seek out employment in one or all three of the jurisdictions if they so desire.
That's great. You know, and that is really an efficient way to do it. That cuts down the upfront personnel costs for all of the departments involved. So nowadays we all need to be careful with how we spend a dollar, and that's a great way to save some money for everybody.
It even it includes the human resource departments from the different localities as well as the fire service.
Okay. Now, how about the next one? There's one for public fire and safety education, I believe.
Yes, sir. In 2008, we lost 3 senior citizens due to fire, lost their lives due to fire. Brian Klingfield, our fire safety education specialist, took it upon himself to research what caused those fires and what could we do to help educate our seniors. We saw a pattern developing there, and he developed a program that works with our police department and our social services department to identify seniors who may be at risk or could possibly be in a situation where they could lose their life to fire, and then developed a program that addressed those needs and has gone out in the community to actually pass that program on to our senior citizens. And fortunately, in 2009, we haven't had any deaths. And of course, that's over with now, but we're very pleased that in 2009, we didn't have any senior citizens died of fire.
Great. I mean, that's an outstanding thing. You got to make people aware of what the dangers are, and you folks do a great job of that.
Thank you.
And Brian does an outstanding job of that.
Yep, thank you.
And last but not least, one of your former employees recently won the award for fire service training. Could you tell us about that one?
Yes, sir. Tommy Fuker, retired Battalion Chief Tommy Fuker, worked for us, worked in that training division, and since his retirement, he's done a lot of teaching on the local, state, and national level at the National Fire Academy. And he was recognized and honored with the Outstanding Training Award because of all the programs he's developed and delivered to fire service, like I said, locally, on state level, and at the National Fire Academy. So we kind of claim him too. He's one of our own, and we was very proud. That made 4 awards out of a total of 8 that were given out this year.
That's amazing. 4 out of 8.
Yes, sir.
For one jurisdiction. Kind of leads me to think about the history of your department and these Governor's Awards for Excellence. Can you tell us about previous years and what's happened?
Yes, sir. We are very fortunate and honored and proud to have received at least 1, if not 2, of these Governor's Awards since they were instituted in 2002. The very first year that they were initiated, we won for the Outstanding Fire Response, which you may recall was a tire fire.
I do recall that.
Several million tires on fire. Over the years, we've been able to submit applicants for just about every category. We've won in the public fire safety education before, the management, outstanding fire response, also excellence in fire service management. So in several different categories since 2002. And we're the only locality, the only fire department that has consistently won from the very beginning through 2009.
Well, it's just, it goes to show how hard you folks work and how well you serve the public, so we really do appreciate that. And where could our viewers go for any more information on either these awards or your department in general?
Yes, we have a website through the county. If you go to www.roanokecountyva.gov/fire and rescue.
Okay, great.
And we welcome also our phone number is 777-8701 if you'd like to talk to someone personally.
Well, great. Once again, congratulations to you and all the jurisdictions and people involved in these awards. Congratulations, you do a great job, and thanks for all you do.
All right, Dan, thank you. We'll pass that along.
I appreciate that. And we'll be right back.
Ready. 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 Ready.
It can be a little awkward when your friend tells you he's been diagnosed with a mental illness. But what's even more awkward is, if you're not there for him, he's less likely to recover.
I'm here to help, man, whatever it takes.
It was not. It was like...
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
April is shaping up to be an exciting month for Roanoke County's Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department. Wendy Schultz is here to share all the details. Wendy, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, and we have 2 events to focus on for the month of April.
We do, and they're both fabulous events.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Race for the Cure first.
Alrighty. On Saturday, April 10th, we are going to have the inaugural Susan G. Komen Greater Roanoke Race for the Cure, which raises much-needed funds for breast cancer, not just for research, but also for direct services for those that are affected. It's a 5K and a 1-mile fun run, so it doesn't matter what your ability is. You can come out to Green Hill Park and enjoy the day.
And this is a first for us, for the
Absolutely.
county.
This is a first for the county and also a first for this entire area. Actually, the affiliate that is associated with this race that we are helping to put this on, as we did Relay for Life in years past, covers actually 19 counties in this area, and one of those counties, one of the largest, of course, is Roanoke County.
I'm sure you've had a lot of interest already and excitement about having an event like this with so much importance attached to it.
We certainly have. As a matter of fact, as of yesterday, we had over 900 racers signed up, and we still have well over a month to go, so it's going to be an amazing, amazing race. And folks come out. They can come out in teams, they can come out as individuals, they can register ahead of time, of course, which is wonderful. They can go to the Komen website, www.komenroanoke.org, or the county website to get more information about how to register.
How did this idea for this race come about, that it included Roanoke County?
Well, it's probably going back about 7 or 8 years ago when several clinicians and active people in the community decided that we needed a local affiliate, because how Komen works is they give out grants in the localities in which they have a presence. So of course it's an application process because the national office is in Dallas. So the whole process started about 7 years ago, and it took that long to get the community behind it, to get everything going in order to actually have a race in 2010. So there's races all over the country, but this is the first one here.
And I can't think of a better venue than Green Hill Park.
Oh, I know. It's going to be a beautiful venue. Everyone's going to come out. We're going to race for the cure, and we're going to try to obliterate this as a life-threatening disease.
Wonderful cause. Now, another great event is going to be taking place at Green Hill Park. Let's talk about the annual Kite Festival.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's been going on. This will be the 12th year for the Kite Festival.
It's hard to believe, isn't
it amazing? And every year, you know, it's really wonderful because the weather's beautiful. The Richmond Air Force Kite Club comes out, does fabulous demonstrations. It's a free event. We give away 1,000 kites, you know, and the Salem Roanoke County Chamber really does a phenomenal job pulling all of this together. And of course, Roanoke County's Green Hill Park is the absolute perfect venue.
Now, tell us more about those kites that go to the first 1,000 people.
First 1,000 children that come get kites, as well as we have T-shirts to give away for the children as well. We also have demonstrations. Now, of course, people are invited to bring their own kites. You know, we also have food vendors out there. We have crafts people. We have folks that are actually selling kites. We have craft activities for the kids. So it's a wonderful day to come out to the park.
Is it fair to say it's gotten bigger and better every year?
Oh yes, it has definitely gotten bigger and better. We're expecting over 10,000 people. But you know, Green Hill is so big that you don't really feel penned in. You don't feel like there's that many people there.
I think probably what tells it is the backup of cars that go down Dugat's Lane.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, we try to do better every year so people don't have quite as long a wait to get into the park. And we've got that down. And you know, it's a 10 to 4 event on Saturday, April 17th. So if you don't feel like coming out first thing in the morning, you know, come later in the day. Absolutely.
Both of these events are two events to look forward to. Is there more information on the county's website?
Yes, there is lots more information on the county website. Then as far as the Kite Festival, there's also more information on the Salem Roanoke County Chamber website, and then of course on the Komen website about the race. But yes, there's absolutely lots of information.
All right. Well, Wendy, as always, a pleasure to talk with you, and good luck with both of these events.
Well, thanks.
And stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Want to save on your energy bill? Get the energy hogs out of your home. Find out how at energyhog.org and have fun while you're at it. Go to energyhog.org and get the energy hogs out of your home.
Hey, wait for me! It's March and time for those census forms to begin arriving in the mail. To talk about why it's so important to fill it out and mail it back in are Linda Edwards-White with the U.S. Census Bureau and Nicole Pendleton with the county. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about the importance of the U.S. Census. Linda, tell us about what the form's going to look like that people will begin getting in the mail this month.
The form actually will be a 8.5 by 11 form. It has 3 pages in it. However, there will only be 10 questions per person on there. So we ask people to take 10 minutes to answer 10 questions.
10 questions, 10 minutes. And is the information confidential?
The information is confidential, and it is held confidential for 72 years.
That is amazing.
The only information that is released will be what we call aggregate numbers, meaning population numbers.
And we'll talk about that in just a minute because Nicole uses some of that information. Just give us an overview of why it is so important to fill out this form.
2 very important reasons. The first one being that the population data that we collect will be used to allocate over $450 billion over the next 10 years, every year for the next 10 years. The other reason that it's important is that the population data will also be used for reapportionment. There are 435 representatives in the United States Congress, and this data will be used to reapportion or reassign congressmen based on the population data.
Nicole, Linda was talking about the money that the county could receive by getting citizens to fill out this form and mail it back in. What does the data that you and the group that you've been working with compiled, what does that data show that the county has received in 2008?
Sure. In 2008, the county received just around $292 million from the census.
$292 million.
$292 million.
That's a big chunk of change. Of course, that funding is important, but the data is also important to the county. What do you use this information for?
Sure. We use the census data for a lot of things. We use it at the county-wide level to help paint a picture of the county as a whole, from demographic information, population information, even housing, transportation information helps us to understand what our citizens look like in Roanoke County. And also, when we do area plans for the community, we've done Holland's area plan, Mount Pleasant. It allows us to look at that specific community as a whole and identify some needs or some policies possibly that we can use as we move towards the future in Roanoke County.
To really improve our future, improve
Absolutely.
the county. Linda, what has the return rate been historically for the county?
Actually, Roanoke County has had a very good return rate, about 79%. That would be the mail response return rate. And compared to the other counties that I work in, that is a very good return rate. Virginia had a 72%. So compared to other counties, you've done very well. But we would like for you to do even better in 2010, yes.
If you don't, well, let's talk first. Once you get the form, you fill it out, when should you mail it back in by?
At least April 1. We tell people if they mail the form back by April 1, then that will eliminate someone coming to your door to knock on the door to ask you questions about the census.
I was going to ask what happens if you don't mail it in, but I think you answered that a little bit.
If you don't respond by April 1, then a list is compiled, and we actually use that list for our enumerators to go door to door to get the census data.
I know the Census Bureau has a website, and there's actually a link from Roanoke County's website, Nicole.
That's absolutely right, and you can go there and get some more information about specifically how much money the census gave to Roanoke County or was used in Roanoke County, and there are also some links to the national website as well.
All right. And Linda, any last parting words of wisdom from you as we're getting ready to begin seeing these census forms in the mail?
Would just like for people to know that if they would like to keep up with the response rate, they can go to our website, which is 2010census.gov/2010census/take10map. and you will be able to actually see the numbers go up as people in the Roanoke County area respond to the census.
So it actually calculates when the census forms come in that you can begin to watch it on a map?
Absolutely. On March 22nd.
That's
so
amazing.
Every day you'll be able to go there and see how well we're doing in Roanoke County.
That's great. Great information. Linda, thank you so much. Nicole, thank you as well.
Thank you.
And stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Personal foul? Inactive activities on a glorious day. Huh? Let's get out there and play!
Sweet.
Ooh, freeze!
When do I get to be in? Uh-oh.
Hey, Reggie, frozen people can't talk.
PLA!
An hour a day.
I'm in. There are lots of great play ideas online, but don't stay too long.
Be a player!
If you've ever wondered what it takes to do business with Roanoke County, now is the time to find out. Rob Light is the county's purchasing manager, and he's here to talk about a vendor open house. Rob, thanks so much for taking the time out to talk about what is an educational event, really. When and where will it be held?
The event's going to be March the 24th from 1 to 4, and that'll be here at the Roanoke County Administration Center, and that's 5204 Bernard Drive, and that's located right behind Regazzi's and 419 West.
Why does your department sponsor this event?
It's a great opportunity to show the items that we purchase. A lot of people don't understand everything the county does. We manage all the purchasing for Roanoke County, as well as all the non-capital purchases for Roanoke County schools and some other entities, including the Western Virginia Regional Jail. And it's a great opportunity for us to meet local businesses and learn things about what they can provide.
So if anybody in the community, business owner, interested in coming out, please do.
We'd love to have. It's going to be informal. We're going to have some different areas set up to help them register. One thing I'd like to mention, it's very easy to register with Roanoke County. We'll help them through that process. Just please bring your federal tax ID number, and we'll show them how to receive bids and proposals, and give them some information on how to do business with the county.
It really is an educational event then, educational event for the business community.
It is, as well as us. We learn a lot from meeting new vendors.
And has the county done this event for several years now?
This will be the 5th annual year, and this year we've really taken to a grassroots effort to try to recruit a lot of local and small businesses.
I know the event starts at 1 o'clock on the 24th of March. People who come in, do you need to come in starting at 1 o'clock, or how is the event going to be set up? Will it be an opportunity if you can't make it till 3, you can still come in and talk with someone?
You can come in at any time from 1 to 4. We realize people have busy schedules, and most people are working that time, so please just come in if you have 15 minutes or if you have an hour. Certainly we would enjoy seeing you.
Well, if you don't mind, tell us once again where the event's going to be held, the date and time.
It'll be Wednesday, March the 24th from 1 to 4, and that's here at the Roanoke County Administration Center. And the address is 5204 Bernard Drive.
All right, and it's also on our county website too.
Yes, it is.
All right, Rob, thank you so much.
Thank you, Teresa.
And stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Hello. Yes. Can I ask a few questions about the apartment on Park Street?
What was your name?
My name is Juan Hernandez.
It's been rented.
Oh, it's gone. Hello, my name is Sanjay Kumar. I am calling about the apartment on Park Street.
It's not available.
Not available?
Hello, my name is Tyrone Washington. I'm calling about the apartment on Park Street.
Just been rented.
Hello, I am Chen Ling. My name is Khalid Ali. I'm Tuan Vo.
Hello, my name is Moshe Goldberg.
I use a wheelchair. It's gone. Not available. All right. Thank you.
Yes, hello, my name is Graham Wellington. I'm calling about the apartment for rent on Park Street. Is that still available?
Yes, it is.
What is?
Yes.
Really?
Housing discrimination is illegal. If you think you've been a victim because of your race, color, national origin, sex, religion, disability, or family status, call us. Fair housing. It's not an option. It's the law.
That's all for this month's edition of Roanoke County Today. Remember, to find out more about Roanoke County, please visit our website at roanokecountyva.gov. Hope to see you again next month.